Vivid footage from the ocean will take you on a magical journey of fishermen. From scenes of ships cutting through the waves while pulling in nets, schools of fish pouring onto the deck, to precise underwater harpoon shots, every moment creates an unmissable spectacle. Right now, let's dive into the top 20 most impressive fishing moments that will leave you in awe. Starting in autumn each year is the season when fishermen battle with giant tuna. Some ships use purse seine nets, which can cover vast areas and completely encircle the tuna within. These fish can grow up to 8 feet long and weigh nearly 1,300 pounds. Ships often use cranes to haul these massive tuna on board. This reduces the risk of harming the fish and also eases the physical strain on the fishermen. Let's head to the bountiful waters of the Azores to explore the high thrill of the high seas chase. Massive marlins hold a special allure for anglers. Catching marlins requires professional fishermen with in-depth knowledge of the species. Their long bills and tough mouths make them notoriously difficult to catch. In many cases, marlins can counterattack with leaps that can injure fishermen. Mackerel fishing season in South Korea runs from October to March. As water temperatures rise, mackerel migrate to the western seas, leading to peak numbers. Mackerel caught with nets tend to have lower meat quality compared to those caught with lines. This is because their flesh is more prone to blood pooling. However, net fishing remains the method that maximizes yield in fishing grounds. About 80% of the total mackerel catch in South Korea's waters is harvested using purse seine nets. During the process of netting red snapper, fishermen must monitor the tension in the nets and adjust as needed to prevent tearing. Care is also taken to avoid damaging the skin or flesh of the fish, which is crucial to providing fresh fish to the market or for export. The nets are hauled aboard using modern crane systems. To ensure quality, red snapper are immediately stored in cold storage holds at temperatures between 32 and 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Groupers are amongst the most valuable fish on the planet. Fishing for grouper is an exciting experience, offering countless opportunities but also significant challenges. In the Gulf of Mexico, most grouper species spawn during winter, making spring the perfect time to find large numbers of grouper actively feeding. At the same time, grouper fishermen are carefully managed to balance recreation and sustainability. Fishermen set fixed nets near areas where salmon migrate, particularly near spawning grounds. This is a common practice in regions like Hokkaido, where the largest salmon runs occur. Japanese fishermen typically operate within a 200 nautical mile radius of the mainland. In 2024, Japan's salmon fishing quota, agreed upon with Russia, is set at 4 million pounds. South Korea primarily fishes for salmon in the eastern seas and partly in the Central Pacific region. Fishermen use methods like purse seines and midwater trawl nets to harvest natural sardines. Purse seines gently encircle schools of fish near the water's surface before being collected, ensuring maximum yield while protecting marine sources. Indonesia's tuna catch ranks amongst the highest in the world year-round, accounting for around 16% of the global tuna supply. In 2023, the country earned around $1.7 billion from tuna fishing. Tuna are most abundant in Indonesia from May till October. Fishermen primarily use purse seines to capture large schools of tuna in deep waters. The central coast of British Columbia is renowned for its abundance of halibut and offers opportunities for spearfishing halibut. Fishermen use short spears for easy handling on the sea floor and sufficient force to penetrate the thick skin of the halibut. Once struck, the line must be quickly retrieved to prevent the fish from escaping or suffering unnecessary harm. In areas like Canada and Alaska, trawlers drag nets along the seafloor to gather cod. Fishermen must adjust the depth and speed of their vessels to avoid damaging the seabed or catching excessive bycatch. With an output of 725 million pounds from high-capacity fishing vessels, the industry provides a substantial supply of cod to the global market. The waters around Alaska host large halibut populations, but they are notoriously difficult to catch. These massive fish have tail slaps powerful enough to break a fisherman's arm. Fishermen use sturdy fishing lines extending over 100 feet to reach the halibut's habitat. Additionally, they equip themselves with a smooth hauling system capable of handling these enormous fish. Squid is a staple of the fishing industry on South Korea's eastern coast. Squid jigging rigs are a hallmark of offshore fishing fleets, enabling fishermen to catch around 1.1 billion pounds of squid annually. Dozens of fishing lines extend into the water under bright lights, each line bearing a specialized squid hook. When the squid gets hooked, an automated spool flips it onto a metal rack. Baskets are positioned below to catch the falling squid. For giant squid, fishermen use live bait to lure them closer before catching them with fishing lines. This is a challenging and dangerous task, as these squids can live at great ocean depths and grow to enormous sizes. In 2024, the giant squid fishing season in Peru is expected to reach 1.1 billion pounds. At the same time, fishermen must adhere to quotas to ensure sustainable fishing. Fishermen in Norway's fishing grounds set traps year-round. Each Norwegian crab fishing vessel is allowed to deploy up to 9,000 traps. However, fishermen must comply with annual quotas set by the government to safeguard the future of the commercial fishing industry. Every few days, fishermen check the baited traps, typically with herring or mackerel, and can catch up to 50 large crabs at a time. Snow crabs are found on continental shelves at depths of 900 to 2,000 feet. In Australia, snow crab fishing mainly occurs along the coast between Northwest Cape and Fremantle. On offshore fishing vessels, the primary method for catching snow crabs is deploying crab traps on long lines dropped to the ocean floor. Snow crab production in Western Australia reached around 374 pounds in 2023. The coastal waters of Queensland boast Australia's largest prawn yield, particularly for species like white prawns. Fishermen use bottom trawls to catch prawns living near the seabed, while purse seines can target prawns at various water depths. Fishing vessels drag long nets through the waters both day and night. This method enables Australian fishermen to harvest around 4.4 million pounds of prawns annually. From the Western Canadian waters to the Barents Sea, shrimp fishing takes place in remote areas under harsh weather conditions, requiring robust vessels to withstand these challenges. Around 2 to 4 hours after hauling in the nets, shrimp are released into storage holds, and conveyor belts transport them to buffer tanks below the ship's deck. After sorting, the market-grade shrimp are either cooked or frozen on board. December and January are the busiest months in Australia's fishing calendar. It's a continuous battle to catch enough lobsters, with vessels capable of hauling up to 4,000 pounds per day. Approximately 230 fishing vessels operate in this sector, generating an estimated $400 million annually. This is considered the most valuable fishery in Western Australia. This industry is a vital part of the fishery sector in cold climate regions, particularly in areas like the Arctic, North America, and parts of Russia. Ice fishing typically occurs when lakes and coastal waters freeze over. People drill holes through the ice to drop baited lines into the water, although fish are less active in winter than compared to summer. They still seek food beneath the ice, creating opportunities for a successful catch. On the coast of Nome, Alaska, fishermen can dive into the water through drilled ice holes. They search for crabs in crevices on the seafloor, where the crabs often gather. Each year, fishermen in Alaska harvest around 50 million pounds of crab. In addition, they use crab traps for fishing. After leaving the traps underwater for several hours, the fishermen haul them up, and the crabs are immediately preserved to ensure quality. Have you ever caught a giant fish that could impale your chest or capsize your boat? Many find it a worthwhile experience. This is the lucky fisherman, Ken Fraser, and the legendary bluefin tuna he caught off the coast of Nova Scotia. It weighed 1,496 pounds, even after drying out on deck for 10 hours. At the current average tuna price in the US, it would have been worth over $86,000 on the market. However, in 2019, a sushi chain in Japan paid $3.1 million for a 613-pound bluefin tuna caught off the coast of northern Japan's Aomori Prefecture. This is because freshness is key in valuing a bluefin tuna rather than size. In Japan, fishermen tend to use longline fishing, with about 1.8 miles of baited lines to fish several giant tuna at once. Tuna is a strong and aggressive fish, so it can fight for hours. This could raise their body temperature and decrease the meat flavour. Hence, Japanese fishermen who fish bluefin tuna alone tend to use an electric shocker to quickly kill it underwater. Then, immediately after being brought on board, they spike its brains, cut its tail, and run a wire up and down its spine because this is how tuna tends to heat up pretty fast. This is the traditional way to keep any dead fish fresh for longer, not just bluefin tuna, as it aids blood removal and treats nerve tightening. The fish is then thoroughly gutted to further accelerate cooling and prevent contamination, just in case the organs are damaged during transport. Finally, it is instantly frozen at -76 degrees Fahrenheit. This is how hundreds of giant tuna are guaranteed to be fresh for days and months on big longlining fishing boats. The Tsugaru Strait in Japan is renowned for its exceptional bluefin tuna, particularly during the winter months when the waters are teeming with smaller fish. At this time of year, bluefin tuna are prized for their rich, fatty flesh, and it's not uncommon to catch giants weighing over 661 pounds here. To capitalize on this seasonal bounty, when global tuna supplies dwindle, some brave fishermen worldwide risk their lives to go out, even when the wind howls at 43.4 miles per hour, or a finger might be lost to the powerful pull of a large tuna. Known to reach impressive weights of up to 1,432 pounds and lengths nearing 15 feet, swordfish is a prime target in the US and Japan. Here, premium markets can offer up to $22 a pound for top quality merchandise. Recreational fishermen in the US use rod and line method to catch swordfish. Anglers typically troll the live baits or artificial lures for hours, sometimes as long as 6 to 8, before they feel a bite, and that's when the fight begins. With lines capable of handling up to 800 pounds of force, fishermen use heavy-duty rods and reels designed to withstand the strain. While their bill is a prized commodity for anglers, it can also be a deadly weapon, slashing wildly during a long fight. Recently, this dangerous side of the swordfish has caused the tragic death of Italian surfer Gianluca Manfredi, who was fatally impaled by this creature while surfing off the coast of Indonesia. Swordfish can dive as deep as 2,000 feet in search of prey. These dives, typically into pitch-black waters, have led to a unique fishing strategy where nighttime is prime fishing time. As they rise closer to the surface to feed, fishermen use long lines, often attaching glow sticks to hooks, to catch the swordfish's attention in the dark. While one can fish swordfish and bluefin tuna alone, the fish I'm about to show you can even defeat the top bodybuilders and top NFL players. So of course, no one wants to risk fighting with it alone. This is the Goliath grouper, one of the strongest fish in the ocean, although its maximum record was just 818 pounds and 8.2 feet long. This monster fish inhabits the warmer waters of the Indo-Pacific, especially around the coral reefs of Australia, Indonesia, and parts of the South Sea. Anglers lower bait, usually fresh-cut fish or live tuna, down to depths of over 300 feet, where the Goliath grouper hides. Once hooked, the battle begins. Due to their powerful jaws and vacuum-like suction, the Goliath grouper strikes with explosive force, often making the first pull a life or death struggle for the angler. Its pull is so strong that it's been known to snap rods or drag anglers right overboard. Hence, Goliath groupers are typically caught using specialized hand lines or heavy-duty rods with lines capable of withstanding over 1,000 pounds of force. Fishermen rely on a special technique known as pumping and winding, where they slowly lift the rod and reel in the line during each small release, working against the fish's enormous strength over hours. With a market price reaching up to $100 a pound in 2023, a single Goliath grouper can be worth upwards of $80,000, especially in luxury dining markets across Asia and the US. There are still many unbelievable giant fish catches around the world, but I will talk about them in another video. Now let's check out other giant catches in the sea together. Often found along the chilly depths of the North Pacific, from the coast of Japan to Alaska, the giant Pacific octopus is one of the ocean's most formidable creatures. It can stretch out over 16 feet and tips the scales at nearly 110 pounds. Did you know octopuses have the largest brains relative to their body size of any invertebrate? So they're very smart. There have been several reports of octopuses stealing fishermen's catches and other stuff from the sea. Hence, once caught, they have to be wrestled into a containment cage. One misstep could mean a bruising blow from a tentacle. Just like fish, they are also gutted immediately after being caught in order to preserve freshness. In recent years, individual octopuses have been auctioned in Japanese seafood markets for as much as $4,000. Similarly, the colossal squid can reach up to 45 feet in length and weigh over 1,000 pounds, comparable to a Harley-Davidson motorcycle in both size and weight. Unlike smaller octopuses or squid though, catching a big size one requires specialized equipment or seasoned divers who brave the cold, deep, murky waters to spot them. However, based on sperm whale specimens, scientists estimate there are only 4.3 million giant squids left in the world. Hence, commercial fishermen are only allowed to catch squid of this size using the jigging or rod and reel method. The United States is a significant consumer of squid, particularly in the form of calamari. While there is some domestic squid fishing in the US, particularly along the East Coast, the quantity is relatively small compared to the overall consumption. Most of the squid consumed in the US is imported from countries like China, South Korea, and Japan, which are three of the largest squid fishing nations in the world. In 2022 alone, China caught a whopping 1 million pounds of squid. Do you prefer to eat squid or octopus? Let me know in the comments below. The Japanese spider crab, with its astonishing leg span of up to 12 feet, wider than the height of a basketball hoop, inhabits the deep waters around Japan and the northern Pacific. It's the largest crab on Earth, making it a prize catch, with live specimens sometimes fetching upwards of $3,000.